Hi, this is Tom from Shadowfields, and this is Monday in the studio, and this is Mitz, and I have a special guest with us tonight. Please sign in if you're not with us, but here's my special guest, all the way from Nashville, Tennessee. It's Heather.
Hi.
There's a little bit of a lag, so that's okay. So we let's talk about what's been happening. There's been a lot that's happened this week, and all good stuff. Um, After Mitts last week, I did have Dan come in, and Dan recorded 3 new songs on Tuesday. So that brings him up to, I think that's 7 songs that Dan has recorded or started recording here. Um, so that's pretty exciting, and that'll be good. And then I finished up the mixes and sent out the mixes for mastering for Will's song. And when I got that back, and it's incredible. I really wish we could share that with you. Maybe in the coming days that maybe we'll have Will in and we'll talk a little bit about the song, and then we'll play the final. Maybe play like just um, the rough thing, not really rough, but just a vocal and acoustic thing, and then we'll play like the full thing. Oh, okay. What's everybody drinking tonight? Heather, what are you drinking?
Iced coffee.
Okay. And tonight, it's not it's not water. I suppose there was water that was part of this at one point, but tonight's festivities are B&B, my favorite drink. Well, of the alcoholic type. Tony, you got a drink? Please let us know what drink you might have, Tony. And also at New Roof Day, what's that? You got a new roof on the house today? That's exciting. All this stuff just for Daniel, I tell you. Heather, do you have a computer up at all, or you just have just the phone for Skype?
I don't think they can hear me because my voice doesn't come up, but
No, your
I'm up.
voice is coming through.
Is it?
Yeah, but
Okay.
you got to remember that your voice is a little bit delayed. Um, if I look at the settings, I'm my monitoring is off on your voice, but it should be going out. So, hey Tony, let me know. Did you hear 12 and a half hours of cleaning up now? Wow. Hi, Kurt. Can you guys hear Heather speaking? Say something, Heather.
High on the hill sat a lonely goat herd.
Did you guys catch that? I know this is like our extreme settings of trying to do stuff long distance, but it's still interesting. All good on Heather. Okay, good. I know at least on my side, there's like a lag between video and audio, but that might just be because I've got headphones on. And so I'm seeing like what you say live, and then I also see what you have on OBS. Oh, all this goofy stuff. Isn't it crazy? I tell you. But anyway, we are here. Um, and so last week I talked about the studio floor, which you can see the lovely studio floor behind me. And no squeaks, no nothing. Had Dan over, and Dan recorded a lot, and there was no problems at all. And that was fun. Um, I did have to shoot the room uh, so I could record or I could mix down Will's song. And Heather asked me questions.
Oh, so
as if you were
yeah.
here.
So when Dan was in, did you do any drums or like what else did you do? Did you do bass tracks? Anything else on the songs?
No, mostly what we did with Dan and what we do with most people when they first come in is we'll first figure out what the tempo is. I'll say, play the song. He starts playing the song, and I'll sit with my telephone and I'll bring up an app that is a metronome, and I'll tap in a tempo, what they're at. And then I'll go into Nuendo and I'll set up a click track. I'll say, is that the right tempo? And then he'll play against that. We go, oh, no, it could come up a little bit or go down a little bit. And we figure that out. From having the click track, then it's let's just get a scratch guitar. So he just runs through the guitar part a couple times till he can play it through one time. And then after we get that, then we move on and we throw down some scratch vocals. And that gives us something to work against. And then from there, then I can send him those scratch parts. He can talk with bass players and drummers that he might want to have part of this, and send
Did you
them
do
those
Tony Road?
roughs. So
Not
that's
not my tempo.
what's that?
Did you see what Tony wrote?
Oh, no, 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 not my tempo. I love that movie. It is. I can't imagine that anybody ever have a job in a college if that's how they treated their students. That'd be an impossibility, don't you think?
I know. Yeah.
But
At some point, tell this
you're too
crew.
far away from the microphone.
You'll have to tell this crew something about a little interaction that we had with Jimmy up in Minnesota at some point. Not right now because we were in knee deep in identifying the tempo and
Well,
what you did with
because
Dan.
we were
But
talking about tempo, that
yeah,
reminds me of the movie Whiplash, which is all about a college drummer and his dealings with his director. And sometimes with Shadowfields, that's what it feels like, where we're constantly, um, like there's this struggle, to get the thing. Um, you and I, we work as producers, and we typically, you're the good producer, I'm the bad producer, and I'm very finicky and picky about what's going to happen, and it's a matter of just nail that thing and just get it right. That's not the right tempo, or that is the right tempo, or whatever. And I remember when we were in Minnesota, we were playing a festival in Minnesota, and we were playing a song, and and I'm and we finished up with that song, and Jim starts yelling at me like he was really irate. He's yelling at me like, "What is wrong with you?" He says, "You can't be yelling at me like that." I'm like, I um, I was flabbergasted. I had no idea what he was talking about. It ends up he thought I was saying, "I'm going to shoot you in the temple," and he thought I was like violent. I'm going to shoot you in the temple. And actually, I was saying, that's not the right tempo. Totally different things. Though there have been times that I felt like, well, no,
no,
no, no, no, no, no. No drummer abuse tonight, right?
no.
So
Um,
that movie always reminded me of it because, then he'd sit there and he'd slap the guy. Am I rushing? Am I rushing? Not my
well,
tempo.
I
Not my tempo.
that Jimmy he took me aside and he's like, "Come in, come over here, whatever." And I said, "What?" And he's like, he can't talk to me like that. And I was like, "What?" And then that's when I was like, "Hey, you got to go talk to him," because we were in the middle of a concert.
Yeah.
So
It's amazing, the lack of communication when you're on a stage. Sometimes it's
yeah,
it's difficult, especially when somebody's playing drums very loudly and you're in a
yeah,
festival environment, and monitors. I think we did that entire day without any monitors because they had such problems trying to get the monitors working. We sang without monitors.
that was the same day that we they were grilling
Well,
Um,
it was supposed to be an outdoor festival at this
yeah.
lake, at this Cottonwood Lake. Beautiful. They had this gigantic stage set up. It was going to be great. And then it started pouring, and they moved the whole thing like into a high school gymnasium. And then they did grilling, but they didn't put the grills outside because it was raining so hard. So the grills like were in the hallway, and it was getting so smoky in the hallway, they started having fans. The fans started blowing into the gym
To where we
where we
were
were
sitting.
playing, and it was like that was a it was a very smoky day. It was a very
Well,
smoky
we all
day.
smelled like hamburgers and hot dogs after that. So
Yeah, that was pretty crazy. That was very crazy. So anyway, what we're talking about tonight, continuing on, what's in a studio. We talked the last couple of weeks about the studio floor, the rebuild, and you got a chance to see the little bit of video and stuff like that I did for the studio. And I have like a 10-minute video that I put together about what it is to tune the room. We've worked with some people that talk about tuning a room, but in this case, tuning the room is taking a measurement microphone and software, and it runs these test tones. There's 37 different locations that it makes you put a microphone in these specific locations, and it does a test tone that goes, and it goes from 20 hertz to 20,000 hertz, and it measures that. And you're moving this microphone all around the room to come up with that when I'm sitting at the mixing position, that it sounds correct. Yes, Tony, it was certainly a Spinal Tap day. I think that, that's why Spinal Tap is so funny to musicians. Anybody who's ever played a show knows how badly things go. And always when you think you're a rock star, the cosmos has a way of showing you that you are really an idiot. When your pod won't open and you're stuck. I remember our first bass player with Humphrey McCowan, Cliff. When we were in high school, I knew Cliff since high school, and we were playing a show at my high school, like either my senior year or right after I graduated. It was a big thing, sold out the theater in the high school, and we came and we were playing, and Cliff does his bass solo. He's boom, 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 and he's walking out in the audience, and all of a sudden, dink, cable comes out of the amplifier, dead silence. That was one of those humbling moments.
That's when you needed to have a wireless. We hadn't
Well,
invented it yet.
that was before wireless were available.
I know.
That was funny, but not funny. It was really embarrassing. It's almost as embarrassing as the time when I was playing my guitar solo, and I had these like black satin pants, and I went down, like to play this guitar solo. My pants ripped right in half. And of course, the underwear I was wearing that day was not black. It was white. And that was another embarrassing moment. So you can't become a rock star with these kind of things happening all the time. But
I'm sure they happen to them all the time too. We just don't ever hear about them.
yeah, I'm sure most bands I'm sure have these stories. Anyway, so I've got a little bit of footage. Are you ready to watch a little bit of film?
Yeah.
Okay. So this is called Shooting the Room, and this is what I did a weekend ago. And this is how it goes. Okay. So what we are doing today is we are doing the sweep tests on the studio. Now that we have the new floor in, I have to calibrate it so that the speakers are going to sound right. So let's see how this goes. I'll show you what I'm seeing, okay? All right. So we're using SonarWorks.
Please adjust the volume of your output device. My voice should sound at normal conversation volume. Left speaker. Right speaker.
Now it just wants me to go through and clear out everything. And we have the calibration microphone right here. It's all set up. Okay, we got the gain adjustment done. That's a good thing. Okay. Next. Imperial. Yes, that's what we want to be on. Don't stand between the speakers during the measurements. Hold the microphone just a little bit away. Okay. So, let's see. All right. Get the microphone out of here. Okay, don't stand between the speakers during the measurement process. Hold the microphone. Okay, left speaker.
Stay where you are. Measurements in progress. Left speaker done.
Okay, now let's try this.
Stay where you are. Measurements in progress. Right speaker done.
Review dimensions. 5.2. It's saying that I've got 5.2 5 foot 2 inches between my mid-range speakers, and I usually get I really got 59 inches. It's really just 59 inches between the two, which would be 4'11". Yeah. So, next up. Position your mic at the testing spot. Okay. Now I've got this right between the speakers. And let's see if we can get this one a little bit more zoomed in. How about that? So we can see a little bit more about what's going on. Okay. All right. Let's start that. Okay, review dimensions. I got 4'7". And actually, this is saying I've got 4'3". I want to back this up just a tiny bit. Let's try this again. So 4'5". We're going with that. All right. So, okay. You got to see this thing. This is interesting. Now, they're going to want to measure a whole lot of different places. Well, I guess I got all 37 points. And measurements are completed. So let's go and see what this says next. Okay, that's showing us that it's kind of similar to what we had expected. This is very similar to what it was before. There's actually the main dip in this room. You know, these speakers are quite accurate, so that's not the issue. The issue is the room. It's the dimensions of the room and the treatment of the room. Mostly it's dimensions. As you can see, at like 100 hertz, there is about looks to be like between a 7 and 8 dB drop at 100, but then at, what is that? It's like at 30, there's a gigantic boost at 30 hertz that needs to be coming down. So, you know, the top's not too bad. Anything over 1K is pretty decent, you know. A little bright, you know, up above 10K. But it's going to fix all these issues. So that's how we do it. I'm going to say save and continue, and then I'll come back. Bye. So calibration is done in the room, and I have even done a little bit of testing with some songs that I know and I think sound really great. So this is what the room looks like now. I shot the room. That's what you do. When you're calibrating, you call it shooting the room. I shot the room so far 3 times with the LYD48 speakers that I'm using. Those are Dynaudio speakers. Those white ones there. And that is what the room looks like. That's the fix for the room. So you can see there's a peak at 100 hertz. And there's a dip around 30 hertz because the room actually has a peak at 30 hertz and it has a huge dip at 100 hertz. So the calibration changed by 10 hertz because it used to be that the dip in the room was at 90 hertz. Now it's at 100 hertz. So it was a good thing that I did this because it did change the sound of the room, and which then changes the calibration. So when I'm mixing, I have to know that when I'm bringing up 100 hertz, that what I'm hearing is real. It happened where all the earlier albums, I'd mix them and then they'd be super bass heavy right around 100 hertz, and I had no idea why. But it was because the speakers in the room had a dip at 100 hertz. And at one time, that dip, I think early on, that dip was like 16 decibels. 16 decibels. That's monstrous difference. And so I would be boosting 100 hertz, like on the bass guitar and on the kick drum. I'd be boosting that like 10, 12 dB. And then the mastering engineers would always be telling me, yeah, I mean, you really got a problem right around 80, 90 hertz. And that was the reason, because the room has a dip in it because of the room dimensions. So I'm happy with this. I've got 2 other sets of speakers to shoot now in the room just to get those going as well. And then we'll see where we're at that point. Here we go. Okay, so what'd you think of that? And maybe it was interesting. Maybe some people were like, oh my gosh, this is so boring.
Well, I think it'd be good for you to talk about what, I think some of us know, but not all. Like what is 100 hertz? So when you say there's a dip at 100 hertz,
our ears hear from 20 hertz to 20,000 when we're young. So when we're very young, we can hear that wide of a range. Slowly over time, and maybe not so slowly, we start losing our hearing, and it's always we lose the top end. The 20 hertz then becomes like 15,000 hertz, and then it becomes 12,000 hertz, then 10,000, and your range of hearing gets lower and lower, and so you start losing intelligibility at some point. And that's why people have to wear hearing aids, so they understand what people are saying, because it starts getting so low. But anyway, 100 hertz is not a very low sound. That is, it's kind of hard to say, but the punch of a kick drum is somewhere around 100 hertz. The real body of a kick drum is going to be around 50 to 60 hertz, but the punchy part is going to be right around 100 to 120. But anyway, any studio that you'd ever want to record in, they do that. They do the testing and they calibrate the room. It's imperative, because otherwise you don't know what you're getting. You don't know if you raise up a certain frequency, you want to know that it really needed that, not that your room is all messed up. And so that's how that works.
Right.
And what else can I tell you about that? That's what I did. That's how I mixed it. When I finished up with this mix for Will's song, it's called I Am Here. I sent it out to mastering. I got it back for mastering. Tom Waltz at Waltz Mastering did an amazing job on it. Super loud, but super clear, super punchy. And when I compared it against mine and I put a matching EQ on it, I thought he didn't have to do any EQ moves. I mixed it just right. So I was very happy with the way the room ended up being, because it was accurate. So every move that I made was correct. So that kind of wraps up our What's in a Studio for this week. Heather, tell us a little bit about what's going on this week and in the coming weeks, because we are not going to be together on Memorial Day. We had tons of people in the studio over the weekend. We have 3 sessions this coming weekend. I think we have a Saturday, Sunday, and Monday sessions. And we have a rehearsal here this Wednesday, because we are going out on a tour starting a week from this Thursday, the 1st of June. Where are we going, Heather?
Yeah, so who wants to join us? Just jump in a car and come along with us. We're going to be in Ludington on June 1st. On June 2nd, we'll be in Grand Rapids. June 3rd, we'll be in Sandusky, Ohio, and on 6-4 Painesville. And I'm even trying to do a little bit of a show. I haven't figured it out yet, but on 6-5 TBD. So let me know if you want to be coming out with us. We'd love to have you and be our tour buddies. And if you're already there, just come on out. I'll just check on shadowfields.com where all the information will be.
Excellent.
So that's it, Tom.
Excellent. And this Thursday night, we will be at Pollyanna for our open
Absolutely.
mic.
It's Sing Out Like America. Apparently, it's like one of those Hallmark. Not really, but
do I have to wear red, white, and blue? And
yeah, no.
I'm a
it's
Yankee
National
Doodle Dandy.
Sing Out Day. It's like you're supposed to sing. So it's like I didn't even have to make this up. Like usually I have to make up our special days, but no, for this one, just come out to Pollyanna in Roselle and watch our musicians sing out.
That'll be a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to that. And if you guys got any questions or anything about all the stuff that we talked about in the studio, feel free to drop us a line or put something in the comments. We'll be sure to hit that up on the next Monday in the studio. This is Tom and Heather from Shadowfields, and you've been witnessing Mitts, right? Please like, share, and subscribe. And ring that notification bell so you'll know what's going on all the time. And please don't keep us a secret. Let your friends know about us. We love to meet new people and have more friends. Not that we're tired of our old friends, but we could always use more.
Hey, Tony, I want to come and have the cookout with you guys.
Yeah, Tony's going to be cooking at the shop on Friday. He's cooking Thursday night for a Friday lunch.
Nice.
You can always stop out on Friday if you want to have some free food.
I don't think they'd like me there.
They would never even notice that you were there. There's hundreds of people on property. But anyway.
All right.
All
Well,
right. Thanks for
it's
being
been
with us
fun.
tonight. And
Thanks for inviting me, Tom.
hopefully the little video was somewhat interesting. And we'll see what kind of videos we come up with next time. And we'll see you in 2 weeks from today. 2 weeks. 2 weeks. All right.
All right. Thank you,
All right.
everybody.
Good night, everyone.
Bye.